guys? Cameron here again, and after making a video about television and community last time, kind of wanted to come back right now and just make another short gaming-centric video. And this will be more of a discussion; it won't be a review. But I've seen a ton of TV commercials recently for mobile games. Specifically the one that keeps coming to mind is whatever that Kate Upton commercial is. I think Game of War or War Age, War Age or whatever the hell it's called. But it's really gotten me to thinking about is mobile gaming sort of revolutionizing and or ruining the gaming industry at large. And I come from an era in which buying and playing games was almost an event, or at least it felt like it to me. Games were slightly more expensive. Consoles were probably slightly more expensive in regard to inflation. And buying and playing a game, at least to me, always felt like sort of an event in so much as you'd go and either rent, remember rental stores, either rent or buy a game, come home, play it on your big screen, and really experience it. And there was something really cool about that to me that made, really elevated gaming to, a form of entertainment and an art form, I'd say, in the same regard as other forms of media. But there's just something about mobile gaming that's been rubbing me the wrong way. And I know, like the games these commercials are for, Game of War or whatever it is, this like Crime City or Mafia Wars or whatever it is, and then Candy Crush. And, I know a bunch of these games are really popular, so it's not the kind of thing where, they're out there in the ether, but no one's really talking about them. Like, a lot of these games are big business, probably as big or bigger business than the vast majority of console games are now. And it's really weird to me to think of a day and age in the not too distant future where, gaming refers to people that just, throw on, Candy Crush for 5 or 10 minutes on their phone. I don't want to come across as a neck-bearded elitist. Gaming is what it is. Gaming is what you make it. It's there for a lot of people just, to kill time and have fun with. So, by all means, play these mobile games and enjoy them. And I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't. What I'm saying more is, I'd be kind of sad if the industry becomes a lot of these mobile games and very little quality console or PC games, as opposed to a lot of good console titles with, a little bit of mobile gaming on the side. I just, I own a few games for my phone, stupid generic stuff like, Bejeweled and Angry Birds, and, I haven't played either of them in literally years at this point. But I've never been into the whole, spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time on my phone playing phone games, because, that's not what I have, a phone for. Gaming is something I do, when I've gotten home to unwind, and, it's not something that I'm sitting at work or sitting, at a red light or something and feel like I need to delve into some form of, interactive entertainment. Maybe that's just people's attention spans or something these days, but it strikes me as odd that so many people feel like they need to have something on them to do at all times. And I really just, I remember reading articles and reading about people saying, the popularity of mobile gaming and the popularity of things along those lines would spell the death of the industry because there's so much money to be made there, and why would you spend all this time creating this elaborate story and telling this epic tale with, all this art design and stuff if you could make 3 smartphone games for infinitely less and make just as much, if not more, profit. And that's the heart of this video, I guess, is will the number of actual video game artists, great storytellers, visual artists, incredible musicians, will we see less and less of them in the world because what a lot of upstart developers are looking for is more just people to pump out these relatively disposable mobile games. I really hope that day doesn't come, and I really hope that isn't the path we're going on. the counter argument to all this, on top of the fact that ultimately you can do whatever you want, me sitting here and raging about mobile gaming isn't going to stop people from doing it. But the counter argument is, I know a lot of games, a lot of classic, really good, awesome video games have been released for like Android or iOS. A lot of people have been talking about the Dragon Quest series, the old Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, a lot of the old Final Fantasies. Games that I love. And if these are games that you only have access to, or like only could see yourself ever experiencing because you got them on your phone or a tablet, iPad, whatever else, then fine. If that's the way you choose to experience them, and you have no interest in sitting down and playing them on a console, I mean that's your prerogative. I think it's hard for me to see how you could really enjoy the game just as much playing it from your iPhone while you're like wandering the hallways, because these, for the most part, these games, those types of games that are released on Android and iOS, they aren't games that are really designed to be played in like 2 to 3 minute segments while you're doing other things. You can do that if you want, but in the same way that I would never watch a movie in 5-minute bursts while like looking things up on my laptop and doing like multitasking. I also wouldn't play these narrative heavy like classic games on my iPhone while I'm predisposed. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm not really sure why you'd want to do that, other than the ability to have it on you at all times. And I know some people are busy, and their whole logic is, if it weren't for mobile gaming, or this applies to handheld gaming too, but a handheld gaming is a different thing for me, because the level of care and passion that goes into things like the 3DS are very different than a lot of mobile games in my mind. But a lot of people say, I'm busy. If it weren't for mobile gaming, I would never have time to game at all, because I just don't have the hours in the day to sit around in front of my TV and game. But I don't know. It's an experience that I feel like is so much better served setting some time aside and focusing on it. And maybe this is a critique of people's just overstimulation and need to be entertained constantly now. This applies to far more than gaming, but it ties into gaming in the sense that, if you really want to experience a game, get it. Pour yourself a drink, sit down in front of your television, kick your feet up and enjoy it. If you can't do that, then do what works for you. But if you can, I just think there's so much value in that compared to stocking your phone full of games that while you're brushing your teeth in the morning, or while you're leaving a work meeting, you play for 30 seconds. And I hope a day doesn't come in which that experience is all that gaming can be. So what do you guys think of mobile gaming? There's a whole lot more that I could say, but I feel like sort of just be talking in circles in general. So is mobile gaming your favorite thing ever? Do you do a lot of it? Do you kind of not do any of it? Will you always buy consoles and always play consoles no matter what future generations bring? Or are you sort of over the whole console thing? What works for you? I'm curious to find out. I'll make some new videos soon, and I hope to hear from you guys. Take care.